Hello stamping friends, this is Jeannie Moss, the Bluegrass Stamper. Welcome to my studio here in the Bluegrass state of Kentucky. Today's project is going to be a little treat pocket. So this is what we'll be making today. We're going to be using the Unbounded Beauty Suite for this project. And our secret ingredient is a toilet paper cardboard. So this one happens to be about 4¼ inches long. So if yours is longer than that, because they do come in different sizes, you can fold it flat and you can cut it to size. So this is what we'll be using today to make this cute little treat pocket. Again, we'll be using the Unbounded Beauty Suite of products. This has a lot of products in it, in the suite. We'll be using the small flower from the Flowers of Beauty, and we'll be using the small die to cut that out. We'll also be using these two dies, and I will show you those. They cut 8 flowers at a time. We'll be using the Hello from the Unbounded Love, and we'll be using some of the dies. We'll use this scalloped oval, we'll use this detailed oval, and we'll use this leaf, double leaf down here. We'll use the DSP. We're going to use some of the glimmer paper. The only thing we're not using is the embellishments. We are actually going to use some rhinestones, and we're going to color those. So that's what we'll be using today. We also have a strip of Pretty Peacock. This is just a 1/2 inch by, what is it? By 6½ inches. So we'll have that. We've got a piece of the DSP. This is 5 inches by 6 inches. I told you I've already cut out that white scalloped oval. And then I have a small piece of white for stamping. This is the shimmery, I hope you can see that, the glimmer paper in the Petunia Pop. And I have cut that little scalloped inner oval with that. Before I cut this out, I put a piece of adhesive sheets on the back of it so that now it's like a sticker. We'll be able to peel this off and just stick it right on. I like to do that with detail dies, especially with glimmer paper and gold or foil, so that they don't get adhesive into the glimmer and the foil. You just can't get it off the foil. I've got a piece of ribbon. This is 10 inches. It is the white frayed grosgrain ribbon. So I believe this is on the last chance list if you're interested in that. I did do some cutting. I cut out the leaves. Probably can't see that on that dark, but there's the double leaves. And I've cut out 2 different sets of those flowers. So those flowers come on a strip die like this. And so you can cut 8 of those out at one time. Now I did see a really cute project when this set first came out where someone had cut out a strip of the flowers and then used that negative image, the one with the holes in it, and behind it they had put different colors of cardstock. So they had a strip of rainbow flowers, which was really cute. And then we'll be using the small die. So let's get started. I'm going to do the stamping first because there's not very much to that. So let's just get that out of the way. Let me get all these little pieces. Maybe I'll probably end up losing these little pieces. So let me put those up here. You ever lose anything on your desk. I lose things all the time. So we're gonna start with our pretty peacock. And we will use the hello. And we're just gonna stamp that in the upper section of this scalloped oval. And then we are going to stamp a flower. I think I'm going to stamp the darker one first. So this is the outline of the flower. This is Berry Burst. And then I'll stamp the inner color of the flower with a solid image stamp, this one, in Pretty in Pink. And this one now I need to line up. So let me get my head over here. I know you may be looking at the top of my head, but I kind of have to get over there to get it lined up. So there's our flower. And then I took the little flower die. That was this one. And I had to move him around on there until I could figure out which way this needed to cut. And just keep spinning, and eventually you'll find the spot that cuts out your flower. And I ran this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And so I have a flower. I won't make you watch me do that, but there's the flower. And now we have all of our pieces for this project. So the first thing we'll do is get our DSP ready to go on our toilet paper cardboard. So I've got this piece of 5x6 DSP, and I'm going to start to take my bone folder, and I'm going to start to just run that on between my bone folder and my thumb. And you can see how that's beginning to curl, because I want it to follow the curve of the cardboard. I'm going to do that on both sides, and you can see that we're doing this. This is the long, this piece runs horizontally, so this is the long way. And just do that for a few times to break the fibers down. If you don't have a bone folder, you could use a ruler. It would work just fine. You could also run it on the edge of a table, but I think the ruler or the bone folder would work the best. Or you could use the back of your scissors if you don't have either of those, and that will work too. Just something to get that fibers broken down and get it a little bit curly. Our next step is going to be to take our tear and tape, and we're going to put tear and tape along both of the short ends. So we'll take this, and we want to put it right at the edge of this. On both sides, both of our short ends. Now we'll bring in our toilet paper roll. And we're going to line it up so that one end is flush with this. So we'll take our needle tool or pokey tool and get rid of the covering for our tear and tape. And I just like to lay this guy down right along the edge of the paper and just kind of roll him down so that he seals on one end. And then you're going to roll this around, and we'll take our protective covering off the other end and just kind of roll this. We want to kind of keep that end at the edge of the paper. We're just going to roll that around until it seals itself. Now, if you get a little bit off and you have some cardboard showing on this end, don't worry about that because we are going to cover that up, so it doesn't matter. Our next thing, we're going to take this cardboard tube and we want to put our seam in the back. We want to have a back, so we're going to just flatten this guy. We're not going to take our bone folder to him or anything. We're just going to flatten him a little bit so that we can tell where the back and the front of this guy is. Next, we will take our stapler and we're just going to staple a couple of times at the bottom and stay close to the bottom because we want to be able to cover that up with our little strip of cardstock. So we have this. It's flush with the bottom. The top, you can see we've got extra DSP Designer Series paper up there. And now we have this piece, which is a 1/2 inch by 6.5. We're going to start at our seam. So this is our seam. We're going to start there and we're going to start to pinch this around our tube. And then when we start to decide to adhere this, when we get ready to glue this down, we're going to open this one up and we'll start here to glue down so that when we get finished, this piece is lined up with the seam of our DSP. So now we're ready to adhere this, and I do it a little bit at a time. So I'll start over here on this area. I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper because I can be kind of messy and get glue everywhere, and I really don't want to do that. So I'm going to start right here. Put some glue on this. And that's going to go right here. And I'll seal that down. Then I'll come and do the next area. Bring that around and seal it down. And then that last section right here. And that should line up with the seam of our paper. So now we have our bottom finished. And we're going to work on the top. So we'll take our paper snips, and what we're going to do is just snip the paper down to the cardboard. Hopefully you can see that. And you want to snip it in a few places. So I'm going to start working my way around. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm not really sure if you can or not, but I'm just snipping down to the cardboard. And then what we'll do is start to tuck these inside. So just start at one spot and just begin to work your way around. These should stay inside pretty well, but if you need to add some glue, you can easily add a little dot of glue and stick those back down if they're not staying for you. So there's our little treat pocket. The next thing we'll do is punch some holes for our handle. I have a crocodile. We used to sell these. We do not sell these anymore. And I'm going to use the larger hole because we do have a pretty good sized piece of ribbon to go through that. You just don't want to use something too big because we're going to tie a knot and we don't want that knot to slide back through the hole. So this is perfect size for the ribbon that we have. We're going to just put that in on what we've kind of figured is going to be our sides, the part where we've kind of flattened it. Now we've got a couple of holes. We'll take our ribbon. We're going to tie a knot in one end and keep the knot pretty close to the end. And don't pull it really tight because we want that to be a stopper. We'll go inside our treat pocket and we'll bring that ribbon through so that that knot is on the inside. Okay, and that's going to hold that side. Then we're going to bring this around and we're going to poke it through the other hole and pull it inside. You can pull it all the way in. So that you have room to work, so that you can tie a knot in the other end. And now we can pull this back out. And there's our little handle, and the knots are on the inside of this. And we're ready to work on the front. So like I told you before, I had already pre-cut this, and then I have cut this, but I've used the adhesive sheets so that it will be like a sticker. So what we need to do with this is to take the back off of it, the sticker part. Got to find the edge of that, and we'll just peel that off. Got a couple of places there I need to peel. So I'm peeling that off. Then I want to make sure that all my little holes are free of extra pieces. And this is now ready to be adhered right inside the little stitching on this piece. Our next step, I'm going to bring in some glue, so I'm going to bring that back in. We've got these flowers, we're going to glue these two together. So I'm actually going to use glue dots on these because they have a hole and I really don't want that glue going everywhere. So I'll just put a couple glue dots on these bigger flowers. And these are glue dots from an old paper pumpkin kit. I always have extras left over and they're perfect for this. And now I can just take this and I'm going to offset those a little bit so the petals are, you can see petals from both colors. So let me find a few more glue dots. Here they are. Alrighty. And I'm going to put a couple glue dots on the back of these leaves. Now I kind of decide where these are going to go. So I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to put glue dots on the back of these just because it's less messy. And I have plenty of these. And now this little flower that I cut and stamped and cut earlier, I'm going to put a little dimensional behind him. And I think a regular, oh, I have some scraps here. Let me use some scraps. I like to use my dimensional scraps. And we'll put him right there. The last thing I want to do for this is add some rhinestones. So I have some little mini rhinestones. And I'm going to color them. I have the Berry Burst Dark Blend. I'm going to use the fine line. There's a brush tip and then there's a finer point. This is a harder point, and so you won't damage this one. If you use your brush tip, you could damage your brush because these are faceted, and so they do have some little sharp edges. I'm going to color 3 of those. That one doesn't want to stay on there, does he? But that's okay because I want him off of there anyway. And we're going to put these in the center of our flowers. Then on the back of this, we'll take a couple of dimensionals and we'll just put them right down the center. We don't want to put them on the sides because we want this to kind of stay flat, and we don't want it to curl around the sides of our cardboard. So now we are ready to put this on. We'll stick it right on there, and there you have it. There is our little Unbounded Beauty treat pocket. We actually did pocket cards this month at class, so did pockets. So this was a treat pocket. We did a pocket card. I'll show you that one. This was our pocket card. Brighter skies are on their way. And there are the brighter skies. Let me get it down here where you can see it. And then we also did some graduation cards with a gift card pocket on the front. This one is a special one with the school colors of royal blue and white that I'll be giving away. So I hope that you've enjoyed this project. If you have any questions, you can email me at bluegrassstamper@gmail.com. If you'd like to see more projects, my website is www.bluegrassstamper.com. And if you visit there, a little blue dot will pop up. You can put in your name and your email address and you'll get a free tutorial immediately. And then I can put you on my email list to receive a free tutorial every week. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and until next time, goodbye.